problem is I feel like this is only the beginning. We're going to see sales taxes 10%. I mean, you have to understand, sir. Downturn is coming. Market's going to crash. More is coming. Hello, everyone. So they just voted basically, as you can see, to increase our taxes. It's basically 1/4% or something like that, 1/8%. And they say, okay, well, it's temporary. It's going to go on to 2020. I don't buy into that. Folks, they're going to extend the tax. There's a lot of indicators that prove that our economy is starting to shake up. We're going through a slowdown. The revenue is going to fall short. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to extend the tax, and they're going to increase our taxes even more. And not just sales taxes, but also property taxes. So this is one of the things you have to understand. And meanwhile, there's many other ways that they can raise taxes. They can tax remittances, particularly of immigrants who send money abroad. We have a lot of immigrants who live here in Clark County. They're about 1/4 of the population. They send lots and lots of money to foreign countries. You have large segments of GDP of foreign countries that are dependent on American remittances. And so, as a result, they're not doing that. They're not raising casino gaming taxes because it's obvious to see. They bought and control our politicians. And as a result, they want us to pay for this nonsense. Now, apparently, they said that they want early childhood programs, job training programs, nonsense. We have all these public administrators, and I just spoke to Superintendent Jara, where they have been wasting their money like crazy. You know, all these high public employee unions and pensions and everything, that's what it's all about. But they say, oh, it's about truancy. I don't believe in it. And you know what? Even if the results don't kick in, they're going to extend the tax. And I just told them in the public comment, believe it or not. So this is one of the things you have to keep in mind. And, believe it or not, who's also behind this? Hospitality training. And who is involved in hospitality? Let me guess, the Culinary Workers Union. Yvonne Kinsella backed this. The speaker, Jason Freerman, backed this. So what is this all about? They use the immigrant vote. They use the worker-employee union vote to decrease our freedoms with the gun laws, with the odometers, all that nonsense. And then they also use it to raise taxes. And they're working with the casinos, so we the people pay for their services while the casinos pay very little in taxes compared to other states, and they pay their workers low wages, while the workers send a lot of their money abroad, and that is not being taxed. This is the insanity. This tax hike really represents the problem of our immigration system. Because when the immigrants come, they change our votes, they change our laws. And this is exactly, or to a large extent, what happened in the state of California and why Americans elected people like Donald Trump into office. And we'll have to see what's going to happen with this public charge rule. But anyway, the point is that this is all part of a global plan, the Carnegie Plan, to change America, to change the Western world, to overcrowd its public services, to raise our taxes. And we're fighting this thing. And the worst part, let me tell you something, it's not the politicians. The worst part is the people of this state, the people of this county didn't fight back. So shame on a lot of the people that live here that didn't have the balls to fight back. If there was 100 of us, they probably would have shut this down. But they're not. They're not willing to do this. And they're willing to think that these rigged, manipulative elections, voting them out, is certainly going to solve the problem. And by the way, let's talk about education. All right? Don't you know that 25% of the students in Clark County Unified has a parent who's not in the country legally? Do you know that about 37% of the students has a parent who's born in a foreign country? These are very high proportionate numbers, ladies and gentlemen, and this is why your taxes and your services are becoming more and more dysfunctional. And they always want to say, oh, they want to throw money at the homeless. And yeah, we've seen that in big cities. And what has it done? It hasn't worked. So keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very, very sad situation we're living in. And honestly, I feel like I'm a lonely camper. You guys need to be fighting against this. And if you're not, well, you know what? I don't know if my efforts are getting anywhere, honestly. And if they're not getting anywhere, well, who knows? Maybe in a few years I have to move to another state. So keep this in mind. And by the way, keep in mind that the superintendent actually spoke in Spanish. What does that tell you? So now you see what this is really, really about. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Please share this video. Take care. And fasten your seatbelts because things are going to get really shaky in the next couple of years. Spread this video. Please subscribe. Thank you so much.
Cyrus Mojadi 89148. My main concern with the sales tax increase is that it's a very regressive sales tax increase. It hurts heavily the bottom 40%. And I believe that really when we tax people, we should not hit those people the hardest. The problem is this is based on promise after promise. We're going to raise it to 8.15, 8.25. We want money for this and that, and we're short, we don't make ends meet, and then we do it over again, and then at this rate, God knows, we could be at 10%, 15%, kind of like Chicago, and those states don't really have a good business climate. A lot of Fortune 500 companies are leaving. We don't want to be like New York, Illinois, or California. These metropolitan areas are now having a true net loss of their population, and we really cannot afford that. We don't want to put our business climate in jeopardy. And more importantly, I just think that it's not only based on false promises, but who is promoting this? From what I heard, the person who's promoting this is State Senator Yvonne Kinsella. And as you know, she's one of those people who's like these pro-immigration people, regardless of how they came in. And it makes me think, like, well, why am I one of the largest critics on this issue? Is it because they're taking my job? Is it because they're putting my safety at risk? Not really. The main reason is the voting habits. When they go and vote in the polls with the Culinary Union, they tend to vote for people who support higher taxes and less freedom. And we've seen a similar situation in California. And basically, it's not become an attractive state to live. A lot of businesses and companies are leaving. And I believe it's a similar cookie-cutter plan. And this makes me think, well, if you're pumping these kinds of people into the polls to really reduce and ruin our legacy and one of the best attractive features we have, and frankly, to a certain degree, this country, well, then this is why I'm concerned about these population changes. So this is just a quick reminder to let you know, and I just want to let you know, if you want to consider increasing our sales taxes, it better be for a good reason. I heard some rumor that Culinary Union is going to be a large beneficiary, and I just don't think this really sounds a good idea. By the way, if you want to increase revenue, I suggest tax remittances and put a tax on heavy Wall Street transactions. I believe Bernie is proposing that. That's probably a better idea. But going after the little guy, it's absolutely not. And I appreciate for us really coming together. I really like your personality, Tig. I wish more people in the legislature was like you. So I'll tell you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, anybody else wishing to speak?
Cyrus Mojadi 89148. I oppose any new sales taxes. First of all, sales taxes are regressive. Some people run as progressives, but increasing sales tax is a regressive policy. There are many other ways to raise revenue, increasing gaming taxes, imposing, I don't know, a tax on people who send money to foreign countries. Certainly that's something we could look at. And I see this as some form of corporate welfare, because based on what I've read, the Culinary Union is getting some sort of share of this. Am I correct? I don't know. And I have a feeling that based on a lot of waste I've seen in the school district, it's just going to feed the beast even more, and it's not going to solve the problems. I don't see that it's going to improve any test scores or improve the quality of life. I've seen many major cities across America that have continued to raise taxes. There has not been massive improvements in spending. along with homelessness, housing, education, and right now it's at 8.25. Why not make it 10%? Why make it 15%? Why stop from there? When is this ever going to stop? We've had many tax increases in the last several years. Many people flee other states and come here for the low tax environment. This is not going to work. Eventually, there's going to be a time where if these taxes go so high, people get exhausted, they get tired of it, and they don't want to come here. We need to attract a business climate because we need to diversify our economy. This is clearly unnecessary. And, you know, I understand it's like $5 burrito, it's only going to impact me a few cents, but people don't want it. You know, it bothers them. And we have the right to know where our money is going. And based on the record, I think that this is not a good proposal. I suggest that we have an audit to see where the money is going and see if we can reduce some waste. And then if it's efficiently, then we can make appropriate decisions. But other than that, I oppose any sales tax increases. If you want to raise revenue, consider raising revenue through other means. And please don't do something that's regressive that disproportionately hurts the poor and low-income people the most. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning, sir.
Gentleman, 6121 Millennial Avenue, taking my right in 9.2. I don't really care too much if you're approving now, but I just don't want any of the money going to the schools. We have seen in the last 30 days how much the school district don't know what they're doing with their money. There's some screening, they don't have money to pay teachers. Oh, the teachers go on strike. Oh, there's the money. I mean, even outside entity was going to do this thing about the teachers, retaining teachers, okay, but that part of money maybe could be used for doctors. Maybe start a fund to have everybody that's going to the medical school stay here instead of having them come and then leaving. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. Got your attention.
Thank you, Madam Chair, board members, Takeover Superintendent, County School District. As you can imagine, I'm very supportive of this work. As I've been here about 15 months, a lot of work that we need to do for our children. And I think this is one of the things that really will start bringing the collaboration between Clark County School District and the county. It takes an entire village, and I think this will be critical for us as partners with you. And I know that my board has had conversations around partnership and collaboration, especially around early childhood, truancy, and some of the other initiatives that are critical for us to succeed. I know we will be eager to partner with you and really sign what I would say an agreement to work with you around these very key, important issues for our children. So thank you very much.
So, I just have a question. What's the end game with these demographics? I mean, what's going to happen to our city 50 years from now? Is our city going to be 80% Asian and Latino mixed in together? How do we know if this is a good thing for our country or our city? Because that's just my question.
What is your question?
My question is, with these demographic changes at this path, Clark County is going to be 50%, or I would say 80% Asian and Hispanic. So my question is, how do we know if these demographic changes are really going to take us to the promised land or it's going to take us to oblivion? Because that's where we're headed, 80% Asian and Hispanic. Because you tell us that these people are growing in numbers, so how am I supposed to know if this is going to be a good thing for our society or not?
Do you represent?
I represent myself. I'm an Iranian American, U.S. citizen, and I believe that I have the right to know if these demographic changes are good for our society.
It's a good question. I can't answer it.
Well, but that's my point,
I
because...
don't believe anybody can, to be honest with you.
But,
Because we
but
can't predict the future, correct?
well, right, but we can see areas that have seen massive demographic change, like the state of California,
and we've seen that California has not become a pleasant place to live, and a lot of businesses and, well, you see a lot of businesses and companies are leaving.
So who has California not been a perfect place to live?
Look at the rankings. It's not looking too well. A lot of businesses
What do you
and
base your numbers on? What do you base your numbers on?
U.S. Census data. Right now,
Is that factored, or is that people who actually put their information into the census? You gotta think about that.
okay, but the census is the best data that I can find, sir.
Okay, understand.
Okay, because that's
There's no prediction on the future. Nobody can predict it. You can't predict it. I can't predict it. The census.
Mentioned that Congress thinks that we're asking you to be the honorary chair, but that's going to be down the road.
Okay, yeah, of
See,
course,
So I
yeah.
feel you have a lot of things going on.
Okay, thank you.
excuse me to film you guys. I was just trying to film that incident, though. Yeah, but I'd like to know if these demographic changes are going to be a good thing, because we need to do investigation. We have to do a study.
Absolutely. Let's investigate the hell out of it.
Because every change requires, you know, some kind of investigation. You know, we have to.
Investigation.
We have